This store is banning you for being vaccinated. Welcome to the Rob Lett Show. I'm your host, Rob Lett. We call these segments Soapbox News. They're current events that I felt compelled to get on my soapbox about. It's also your chance to get on your soapbox in our comments section. Not a lot to unpack here today. It's a very simple story. A local sign shop in Australia bans the vaccinated from entry. That's the focus of today's Soapbox News. Before we get started, I'd like you to go ahead and do a few things. First, like this video, subscribe to it. If you're on YouTube, to the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a notifications bell. Click it, and it'll notify you the next time we release a new show. If you're on Rumble, however, to the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a share button. Click that button, and it'll share this video with a friend of yours who should have been here today. Go ahead and do all of those that apply right now. So apparently there's a place called the Gigantic Sign Shop in Australia, and it's causing a lot of controversy.
You've heard of no jab, no entry. Well, now one Kent Town business is going the other way and locking out customers who've been vaccinated. Experts say while it's a controversial move, there's nothing stopping them from discriminating.
The business might be called Gigantic Signs, but you'll have to read the fine print before stepping inside.
That goes against the grain, doesn't it? I mean, if you've had a COVID vaccine, you should be allowed anywhere, I think.
The owner of the King William Street business pinned the sign up last week, much to the confusion of locals.
Discriminating against people who are vaccinated, there's no actual underlying justification or reason to need to do that.
But it's not illegal.
They can do whatever they like in terms of discrimination law because there's no ground of discrimination based on vaccination status.
And it appears to be a sign of the times. Earlier this month, Adelaide Hills Winery, bird in hand, announced plans to ban patrons who are not fully vaccinated. But while some are restricting entry,
very, very interesting.
Others have taken to social media to say they won't be taking sides.
I just felt like I needed to tell everyone that I'm pro-choice.
The owner of the sign-making business didn't want to appear on camera, but has told 7 News he's a COVID denier and has no intentions of taking the sign down.
That would stop me, because being my age, I need to go to safe places.
Nathan Regter, 7 News.
It's funny and sad at the same time because I'm sure it's ticking off some of the locals, and I'm glad that it is, because the ban against the unvaccinated was totally immature, and I'm almost certain that he's only doing this to make a point. They can't do anything to him because apparently he hasn't broken any discrimination laws, since discrimination laws don't mention anything about your vaccination record. But it's sad because I'm getting the feeling that the Democrat Party is starting to take us backwards again. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but Democrat policies are actually taking us backward, not forward. I don't know how in the world Democrats got this name progressive, because there's absolutely nothing progressive about what I've been seeing as of late. Actually, it's quite regressive. Let's take a look at some of the incidents we've seen as of late, all sparked by the Democrat Party. Before I get into some of these events, we have to come to some sort of an agreement that Black Lives Matter is a political group and not some grassroots movement in support of black people. If we can't agree on that, you're not going to agree on anything else I have to say today. It's amazing how the media is trying to label the January 6th incident an insurrection and the biggest threat to our country in modern time. Meanwhile, these are the statistics orchestrated by Black Lives Matter in 2020. Local protests in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area quickly spread nationwide in more than 2,000 cities and towns, as well as over 60 countries internationally in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. In Minneapolis, destruction of property began on May 26, 2020, with the protests involving vandalism and arson. Demonstrations in many other cities also descended into riots and widespread looting. More than 2,000 cities, 60 countries, all at the same time. But it wasn't organized. But I know what you're going to say. Those riots weren't orchestrated, Rob. They were examples of black people frustrated with police brutality. In 2,000 cities, 60 countries, all at the same time. Listen, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. User Ruben Got Soul posted this video on his Instagram when the riots broke out.
This right here?
Yeah, they put them
This
down
the
first.
setup. They put them there on purpose,
Y'all know
bro.
where we at.
They gonna set them on right up on the route.
Y'all know what building this is
Come
right
on
here.
now.
I ain't even gonna say what name it is.
Hey, where do them bricks go to? Where do them
This
bricks
is
go
set
to?
up.
Where do them bricks
We
go
gotta
to?
do better.
Ain't no damn
You
construction.
gotta do better.
Ain't no damn construction around here.
I see you.
Ain't no damn construction around here. You just gonna set a pallet of bricks right there. Oh, okay.
Listen, I did jury duty 3 months ago. Y'all don't keep no bricks right there. Do better. Do better. I see you.
You gotta do better. Smart people smell the setup. Suddenly, stacks of bricks popping up out of nowhere. Before long, even companies were jumping on the black train. Uber Eats made the stupid mistake of waiving the delivery fee if you ordered your food from a black-owned business. Discrimination much? But Uber Eats wasn't alone. Suddenly, when you tuned in to watch your favorite movie on Hulu, there was a black section. When leftists hijacked and took over that Seattle police department, there were 6 city blocks surrounding that police department that were also held hostage. It didn't take a genius to figure out what was coming soon. I remind you of these things just to reinforce where we are right now. The winery in this news story is celebrating the fact that they're banning the unvaccinated from their vineyard. You know things have gone bad when stores have to let you know that they're pro-choice. And it's all being fueled by the Biden administration, encouraging employers to single out their employees based on their vaccination status.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals. This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you. I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week. The bottom line, we're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated coworkers.
I'm not liking all the rhetoric being used to address Americans, where we have an administration who's closing in on our citizens. So the Biden administration is practically declaring war on its own citizens while emboldening terrorists in other countries. Not a good look. And this is not just my opinion. Biden's approval rating has tanked to a whopping 38%. I've never seen a president take 48 years to run for president, only to screw it up in the first 6 months. What are your thoughts on all of this? Should businesses now start banning the vaccinated just so we can make some kind of silly legal point? Or is it time for everybody to just grow the heck up? If you're vaccinated, stop worrying about who isn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that why you got vaccinated in the first place? So that you wouldn't have to worry? And if you're one of these people thinking that if all Americans would just go and get vaccinated, the virus would just go away, I'm sorry, but you're being terribly naive. Because in case you've been under a rock, the Biden administration has had an illegal border crisis since day one, and they are not all vaccinated. Thank you very much. But nobody wants to talk about that. And that's where I'll leave it for now. If you're new around here, our channel is a combination of podcasts for long-form understanding of conservative principles and soapbox news. Videos where you get on your soapbox about the latest news of the day. Be sure you like, subscribe, and share with someone who should have been here with us today. We'll see you next time.